Welcome back, everyone. Today, we're taking a deep dive into something really special, acts of kindness from all over the world.
Yeah,
And this isn't just about feeling good, we're going beyond that. We're
right.
really trying to understand what makes kindness such a universal thing,
Yeah.
how it impacts not just individuals, but whole communities.
Absolutely.
We're going to journey from those bustling cities to quiet corners of the world, those hidden gems,
Yeah.
to see how diverse these acts are.
Hmm.
And yet, what they all have in common.
Yeah, the common thread.
We've got stories lined up about like Techie lending a hand to Mumbai,
Hmm.
a teenager who makes an unusual choice for his birthday gift,
Interesting.
and even a whole community coming together after a devastating flood in Brazil. It's really going to make you rethink what's possible, when people come together.
What's always struck me is we often just see the act of kindness itself, right? But in this deep dive, we actually get to explore the why behind it.
The motivation.
Yeah, the motivation. We're going to uncover the emotional ripple effect of these actions, the profound lessons they offer about empathy, bravery, and the power of community.
I love that.
Okay.
So let's jump right in. Let's start with those small gestures that really have a big impact. Those ones that catch you off guard. Our first stop takes us to Mumbai, India, where we meet Rajiv, a software engineer navigating the city's crazy streets.
I can imagine.
Yeah, he's on his way home after a long day when he sees this elderly woman struggling with her grocery bags. I'm sure we've all been there, right? We're rushing in our own world.
Oh, absolutely. I've definitely been there.
You just kind of keep going.
Yeah, you're so focused on your own thing.
But Rajiv does something different. Instead of just walking by, he pauses and offers to help her carry her bags.
That pause, that decision to engage, that's where it all starts. That's where the ripple begins.
And it doesn't stop there. They actually start talking as they walk to her apartment.
Mm.
Just a casual conversation. Rajiv actually takes the time to get to know her a little bit, finds out about her life, her family, her connection to the city. They form this connection that's deeper than just, a quick interaction.
It's a really important point, I think, recognizing those opportunities for kindness every single day. It's easy to get swept up in our own routines, but Rajiv shows us even the tiniest act can create genuine human connection. It's a reminder that those moments are everywhere.
If we just open our eyes.
If we just open ourselves up to them.
It's like a miniature version of Mumbai itself.
Right.
This bustling city where in all that energy and chaos, a moment of simple connection shines through.
Exactly. It's beautiful. Okay, so let's travel across the globe now. We're going to New York City. We're going to meet Alex, a high school student who's celebrating his birthday.
Nice.
But instead of thinking about all the gifts he's going to get, Alex decides he wants to give a gift himself.
That's pretty amazing.
It is, right. He's walking through the city and he sees Henry, a homeless man who's braving the winter cold. And for Alex, that moment sparks something. He decides to act. He wants to make a difference.
Wow.
So you think about it. A teenager on his birthday, seeing someone in such a different situation, it would be easy to just feel overwhelmed, look away. But Alex chooses to engage.
Yeah, that's pretty powerful.
Yeah. And what he does is truly remarkable. He uses his birthday money to buy Henry a warm winter coat. And this gesture goes beyond the material value.
Of course.
It's about restoring a sense of dignity to Henry, recognizing that shared humanity.
Right, a human connection.
It's powerful. This act shows us the importance of seeing the individual, beyond the circumstances. Alex doesn't just see a homeless man. He sees Henry, a person deserving of warmth and respect. It's a reminder that kindness can be more than just meeting those immediate needs.
Yeah.
It can be about restoring someone's sense of worth.
It's such a beautiful example of how a simple act of kindness can have a ripple effect. It's not just bringing warmth to Henry on a cold day, but it's also bringing purpose and meaning to Alex's birthday celebration, a lesson we could all take to heart.
Let's shift gears a bit now and talk about communities facing crises where that power of collective kindness really shines through.
Yeah, when people need it most.
Exactly. First stop, we're going to Blumenau, Brazil. It was recently devastated by these terrible floods. Imagine it. Homes destroyed, lives upended. Just this sense of despair setting in.
It's hard to even imagine.
It's tough. But amidst all of this devastation, the people of Blumenau respond in a truly extraordinary way. Instead of giving in to that despair, Neighbors become family. They start working together, rebuilding their lives in their town piece by piece.
It's amazing.
Their local soccer field actually transforms into a hub for support, a place where people can find shelter, solace, and, a shared purpose.
Wow.
It really speaks to that idea of collective resilience. The strength that comes out when people come together in times of crisis. The flood might have washed away their homes, but it couldn't wash away their spirit, their determination to support one another. It's a reminder that even when facing unimaginable hardship, the human spirit can find a way not just to survive, but to thrive.
I love that.
And there's this one detail that really captures that spirit for me. Amidst the chaos of cleaning up and rebuilding, the community comes together one evening to prepare feijoada, this traditional Brazilian dish.
Nice.
Sharing a meal, sharing stories, finding moments of laughter amidst all the devastation. It's a testament to that enduring power of human connection.
It's beautiful.
It really is. It's in those moments when people come together to share not just food, but also their grief, their hopes, their resilience, that true healing begins.
Food is such a powerful tool for bringing people together.
It is. It goes beyond just, feeding people. It nourishes the soul as well. It's a reminder that community isn't just about physical proximity. It's about the bonds we forge, the support we offer, the strength we draw from one another. Okay, let's travel to Japan now, to a picturesque town nestled in the mountains.
Oh,
This town is dealing with a different kind of crisis, one that's often silent and unseen: loneliness.
that's powerful.
It is, right. They're grappling with this growing issue of social isolation, particularly among their elderly residents.
I see.
It's a problem that's becoming more and more common around the world, as urbanization and technology kind of change how we interact.
Yeah.
But in this town, they've come up with this really unique solution: the loneliness walk.
That's so cool.
Yeah. Every Sunday, volunteers get together and walk with elderly residents, just provide companionship and a listening ear. A simple concept, but so powerful.
I could see that.
For many of these residents, these walks become a lifeline. They break that cycle of isolation and offer a chance for real connection. It really highlights the importance of intergenerational relationships, just taking the time to listen and learn from those who've lived longer, experienced more.
It's like a bridge between generations.
Yeah, exactly. I love the image of these walks too. Volunteers and residents side by side, strolling through these peaceful paths, surrounded by nature. It speaks to the idea that sometimes the most profound connections are forged in the simplest of acts.
The simple things in life.
Yeah. One volunteer, Yumi, who's a school teacher, actually said she finds immense joy in listening to the stories of the elderly residents, hearing about their past.
Wow.
She said it's like stepping into a living history book, gaining insights and perspectives she wouldn't find anywhere else.
That's pretty amazing.
It is. It reminds us that kindness can be a two-way street.
Absolutely.
While the volunteers offer companionship, they also receive something invaluable in return: wisdom, stories, a connection to the past. A beautiful exchange of kindness, enriching everyone involved.
So powerful.
Now, how about we explore how acts of kindness can transcend those cultural boundaries?
Yeah, I'd love that.
Okay. We'll start in London, at a busy underground station. Picture this. Thomas, a blind man, he's trying to figure out how to navigate this complex network of tunnels and platforms.
Oh, I can imagine. It's pretty overwhelming.
It can be, right. He's feeling a bit lost, overwhelmed by the sheer number of people and the unfamiliarity of the space.
I've definitely been there.
But what happens next is just amazing. It's a true example of spontaneous altruism. A diverse group of tourists from all over the world notice Thomas struggling, and they step in to help.
Wow.
This spontaneous altruism, it's fascinating, right? It's that instant urge to help someone in need, even if they're a complete stranger. It speaks to something fundamental about being human.
That empathy.
That empathy and compassion that goes beyond cultures and languages. And that's exactly what happens in this London underground station. Even though they don't speak the same language, this group of tourists forms a human chain to guide Thomas through the station.
Amazing.
They use gestures, broken phrases, and a shared sense of concern to communicate. Just imagine the scene. There's a French couple leading the way, gently explaining each step. An American family creating a path through the crowd. An Australian translating phrases to make sure Thomas feels comfortable, and a group of Korean students using their knowledge of the tube to pick the right line.
It's beautiful.
It's a symphony of kindness orchestrated by strangers, united by this common desire to help. They don't just guide him physically, they actually engage him in conversation, sharing bits of their cultures and learning about his life. They turn what could have been a stressful experience into a moment of connection and joy.
So well.
Their actions highlight this idea that kindness is a universal language. You don't need to share a language or a culture to understand a helping hand, a reassuring smile, a moment of shared humanity.
Right. It transcends all those barriers.
These moments can happen anywhere, anytime, if we just open ourselves up to the possibility.
I love that.
Okay, ready for another story?
Yeah, hit me.
We're going to Sydney, Australia now.
Okay.
We're going to see another act of kindness, but this time it bridges a different kind of gap. The gap between the hearing and deaf communities. We meet Alice, a retiree who often sees her neighbor James, who is deaf, working in his garden.
Okay.
They exchange those friendly nods, the neighborly thing.
Yeah.
But Alice feels a disconnect because they can't truly communicate.
Right.
It's something we all experience, meeting someone from a different culture, background, a different way of experiencing the world. And in those moments, we have a choice to shy away from the unknown or to embrace the opportunity to connect. Alice chooses the latter.
Good for her.
Right. She decides to learn Australian Sign Language. We're talking dedication here. To learn a whole new language just to connect with your neighbor. That's pretty amazing.
It's pretty amazing.
It's a powerful statement about what people will do when driven by kindness and that desire to build more inclusive community. Alice's actions show us that inclusivity isn't just a word.
Yeah.
It's about actively seeking ways to connect with those who are different from us, to bridge those gaps that divide us.
It's taking action.
Exactly. She practices diligently. She even signs to her plants as she's learning.
That's cute.
It's adorable. And as she starts using basic signs in their interactions, James's face lights up with surprise and delight. Those little greetings turn into full-blown conversations, transforming their neighborly nods into a real friendship.
That's so awesome.
It's a reminder that sometimes the most profound acts of kindness involve stepping outside our comfort zones, challenging ourselves to learn and grow to connect with others in a more meaningful way. Alice's efforts actually created a ripple effect, inspiring others in the community to think about how they can be more inclusive, how they can contribute to a more welcoming and connected society.
I love that.
Her story is a testament to the transformative power of even the smallest acts of kindness. A simple hello can become a bridge between worlds, a catalyst for connection and understanding.
Wow.
Okay, now let's dive into stories that showcase the intertwining of generosity and bravery. We're going to start in South Africa, where we meet John Makona, a farmer known for his incredible harvests.
Okay.
This year, despite facing some unpredictable weather, he decides to do something truly remarkable. Instead of focusing solely on his own needs, John donates a huge portion of his harvest to the local food bank, which is really struggling to meet the needs of families who are going through some tough times. It's a gesture of immense generosity, but it goes beyond that.
Right.
It shows John's deep understanding that we're all interconnected, recognizing that his well-being is linked to the well-being of his community.
It's a powerful realization.
It is. John's act embodies that concept of food security being a communal responsibility. He gets it. He understands that ensuring everyone has access to nutritious food isn't just charity. It's a necessary step toward a more just and equitable society.
Absolutely.
And his generosity doesn't just provide food, it sparks something in others. It inspires other farmers in the community to start contributing as well. It's like a chain reaction of kindness, showing that one person's actions can have a ripple effect, encouraging others to do the same.
Yeah, to pay it forward.
Exactly. It highlights the power of leading by example. John doesn't just talk about giving back, he lives it, inspiring others through his actions. It's a reminder that we don't have to wait for grand opportunities to make a difference. We can start right now in our own communities, in our own spheres of influence.
It starts with us.
It does. Okay, now for a story of bravery. This one takes place on a snowy winter day in Sudbury, Ontario. A car crashes into a tree and goes up in flames, trapping the unconscious driver inside. It's terrifying, right? The kind of scene that could easily paralyze you with fear.
Absolutely.
But in this moment of crisis, a construction worker named Mark becomes a hero. He doesn't hesitate. He just runs towards the burning car, risking his own life to save the driver. He tries to open the door, but it's jammed. Thinking quickly, he grabs a tire iron, smashes the window, and pulls the driver to safety, just as the flames engulf the entire vehicle.
Oh my God.
Like something out of an action movie.
Yeah.
But this is real life. Mark's actions show that incredible human capacity for courage and selflessness. It makes you think. What would you do in that situation? Would you have the courage to act, to risk your own safety to help someone
It's
else?
a good question to ask ourselves.
It is.
Yeah.
This story highlights that idea of bystander intervention. Mark doesn't just stand there and watch, he takes action, showing that each of us has the potential to be a force for positive change.
Right. We don't have to be passive bystanders.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He reminds us that heroism isn't just for fictional characters, it exists within each of us, just waiting for the opportunity to emerge. I love that.
Mark's story is a powerful reminder that courage isn't about not feeling fear. It's about acting despite the fear. Putting the needs of others before our own safety. It's about recognizing that in those moments of crisis, we have the power to choose compassion over fear, action over inaction.
Powerful stuff.
Now let's shift our focus to stories about kindness toward animals. We're going to start in Berlin's beautiful Tiergarten Park. We're going to meet Luna, a playful golden retriever who's gotten herself into a bit of a predicament.
Oh,
Yeah, her leash is tangled around a tree and she's trapped. Her elderly owner can't free her, and you can feel the worry in the air.
poor Luna.
Picture this, Luna panicking in distress, trying to break free, her owner feeling helpless and worried, and a growing crowd of onlookers unsure of what to do.
It could easily turn into a chaotic situation. Absolutely. But something incredible happens. This is where the power of shared compassion comes into play. A diverse group of people, a young couple, tourists speaking different languages, a jogger, several passersby, they all stop to help. They recognize that Luna's well-being is just as important as a human's, and they're driven by a shared desire to help her.
Wow.
The jogger uses his pocket knife to carefully cut away the extra leash, while others try to untangle the knot. The tourists even use a translation app to communicate with Luna's owner, making sure everyone's on the same page.
That's amazing.
It's a beautiful example of collaboration and problem solving, all fueled by empathy and a desire to help.
It really shows how kindness can bring people together.
It does. Their actions highlight the idea that kindness should extend to all living beings. We all share this planet, and we have a responsibility to care for everyone on it, human and animal alike. Their collective effort frees Luna, but also creates a sense of community among everyone who helped. It's a reminder that kindness can be a powerful unifying force, bridging cultural and linguistic divides. It connects us through that shared capacity for compassion.
I love that.
All right, last story for this part. We're going to Rio de Janeiro. Meet Eduardo, a cyclist out for his morning ride. But today's ride takes an unexpected turn.
Oh,
He hears this faint whimpering coming from an alleyway. He goes to investigate and discovers an abandoned puppy, all alone and shivering.
Oh, that's heartbreaking.
It is.
Yeah.
It would be so easy to just keep riding, pretend you didn't see anything, convince yourself someone else will take care of it. But Eduardo chooses to act.
He steps up.
He does. He makes a conscious decision to change his plans and prioritize the needs of this helpless creature. It might seem like a small act, but it says a lot about Eduardo's character.
Yeah, his compassion.
Exactly. He gives the puppy some water, gently places it in his bike basket, and decides to find it a loving home.
What a good guy.
He is. And this is where the power of technology and social media comes in. Eduardo shares the puppy's story online, along with photos of this adorable little pup, who he names Padrinho. It means Littlefoot in Portuguese.
Oh, I love it.
Right. It's a good reminder that technology can be a powerful tool for good. Social media, yeah, it gets a lot of flack for negativity,
Yeah.
but it can also be a platform for sharing stories of compassion, connecting people across borders, and mobilizing support for those in need.
That's what we need more of.
We do, and that's exactly what happens with Padrinho. His story spreads across Brazil, and people are touched. Adoption offers pour in. Eduardo carefully selects a family who had recently lost their own dog, ensuring Padrinho finds the perfect forever home.
That's amazing.
It highlights that ripple effect of kindness, how one person's act of compassion can inspire countless others. It's a reminder that we all have the power to make a difference, no matter how small our actions might seem. By choosing kindness, we create ripples that go far beyond ourselves.
Impacting others in ways we may never fully understand.
Exactly. As we go deeper into these stories, there's a pattern emerging, isn't there?
Oh, totally. It's not just about the nice thing someone did, but the wave of emotion it sets off.
A ripple effect.
Exactly. Like tossing a pebble in a pond, those ripples spread out further than we can even see sometimes.
Right. Think about Rajiv and that lady in Mumbai helping with her groceries. Sure, it was practical help, but there was so much more going on.
That connection, fighting loneliness, A bit of community in that huge city.
And who knows? Maybe their chat stayed with her for days, made her want to do something kind for someone else.
It's contagious in a good way.
The best kind. Then there's Alex. Birthday money for a coat. That goes way past just keeping warm.
It's about dignity, seeing someone when they feel invisible, showing them they matter.
Makes you rethink teenagers, right? We think they're self-centered, but Alex shows us empathy's there in all of us, no matter how old we are.
Maybe he inspires other kids to look around, see who needs help.
It's a choice we all have, every single day. Speaking of choices, those crisis situations, Blumenau after the flood, that rebuilding wasn't just about houses.
It was rebuilding lives, giving people hope again.
That feijoada meal, that image sticks with me. Food does that, you know? It's more than just eating.
Yeah, it's being together, feeling normal when everything's upside down, sharing the tough stuff so you can heal.
And in Japan, that loneliness walk is brilliant. It's not just exercise, it's fighting off isolation, which we know is really bad for folks.
As bad as smoking, some studies say. But walking and talking, feeling like you belong, that's powerful medicine.
It makes you think, what other simple solutions are we missing? Maybe it's just about reaching out to each other more, being there for those who are hurting quietly.
Totally. Now, those acts of kindness that cross borders, literally and figuratively, that's fascinating.
Thomas in that London tube station, so easy for those tourists to zoom past. But they stop, they help.
And not just point the way, they make a chain, guide him, talk to him. Imagine how that felt for Thomas. Not just help, but included, respected.
That's the beauty of group kindness. Alone, you hesitate, but together, you find the courage. Reminds us we can do amazing things if we work together, fueled by that care for each other.
Alice learning sign language for her neighbor, James. That's commitment, creating real inclusion.
It challenges us, right? What can we do in our own neighborhoods to make sure everyone's welcome, that we break down those walls?
These stories prove kindness isn't just a feeling, it's what we do.
Now, talking about generosity and bravery pushing limits, John McElwaina giving up so much of his harvest.
Especially when farming's tough, that's incredible. Shows he gets that we're all in this together.
That our well-being depends on each other. It's not just about being nice, it's realizing that helping others helps everyone in the long run.
And the ripple effect, other farmers joining in, that's impact that lasts way longer than one act.
Leadership by doing, not just talking. We can all do that in our own way.
Mark, the burning car. Talk about real-life heroes. He didn't think, just acted.
Shows the power of instinct. In that moment, he didn't see a stranger, he saw a human in need.
Reminds us we all have that potential for heroism. Maybe not so dramatic, but standing up for someone, speaking out when things are wrong.
And kindness to animals. Luna stuck in the park. Padrino abandoned. That broadens what community even means.
The folks who helped Luna, different languages, cultures, but that care for a living being brought them together.
Empathy goes beyond species, right? It's a language everyone understands. And Eduardo, using social media for good, finding Padrino a home, technology connecting us, amplifying good deeds, making the world feel a bit smaller.
All these stories so different, but that one thing in common. Kindness makes a difference.
Those ripples spread out further than we know. But here's something else that's fascinating, something people forget. These acts of kindness, they change the giver, too.
Oh, absolutely. It's not one way. There's something transformative for the person who's kind as well.
Right. It completes the circle, enriching both sides. Think about Rajiv leaving that elderly woman. I bet he felt amazing, like his day had purpose.
And Alex, that coat probably felt like the best gift he ever gave. It wasn't stuff. It was connection, making a real difference.
Exactly. And Blumenau, rebuilding together after that flood, they probably made bonds that are unbreakable now. In those tough times, supporting each other, that's when we see how strong we can be.
And Yumi, walking with those seniors, I'd bet those talks, those moments, filled her up as much as the people she was helping.
Kindness comes back to us in ways we don't expect. We nourish others, but we nourish ourselves too.
It's a beautiful cycle. The good you do goes outward, but it also comes back in.
It's realizing we're all connected, our actions matter, and being kind makes the world better, but it also makes us better.
It's amazing how those stories from London and Sydney show how much impact small things can have, especially when they bridge those gaps between us.
Right. Those tourists could have just pointed Thomas the right way and kept going, but making that chain, taking the time, that makes it more than just directions.
It's like they're saying, we see you, not just the blindness.
Exactly. It's inclusion. And Alice learning a whole language for her neighbor? That takes work.
But you get a new friend, your community's better, and she probably feels proud of herself too.
It makes you wonder how often we see a problem and just assume it's not our job to fix it. John McCoyna, that farmer, he didn't do that.
Giving up so much of his food when times were tough. He could have easily said, I need this, someone else will handle it.
But he understood a community's only as strong as its weakest link, you know? By making sure people had enough to eat, he was helping everyone succeed.
And they got other farmers doing the same. Like, his good deed was a seed that grew into a whole forest of giving.
That's leadership in action. It says, don't just talk about it, be about it. And we can all do that in some way. Now, Mark in that burning car, talk about guts.
Most of us would freeze, but he didn't even stop to think, just instinct.
It's like, in that moment, he was just human to human, no labels, just need. Makes you think about what drives that kind of selflessness.
We call it heroism, but maybe it's deeper than that. It's like proof that we can be good, put others first, even when we're scared.
And it reminds us bravery isn't not being afraid, it's acting anyway. Sometimes the bravest thing is simply to help. Then we have those acts for animals, Luna and Pedrinho. It expands how we think of caring, right? It's not just about us humans.
That group saving Luna, they didn't need the same words to get it done. When a living thing needs help, we understand that.
And Eduardo using the internet to do good, finding Pedrinho a family, it shows tech can bring us together, spread good vibes worldwide.
These stories aren't just feel-good stuff. They're like little nudges to look at ourselves, how we act.
What I hope you walk away with is this. Kindness isn't some big impossible thing. It's tiny choices we make every day.
Seeing what others need, getting a little uncomfortable to do what's right, choosing care over not caring, and knowing even small things can make a difference, add up to a better world.
Remember, it's a journey, not the finish line. Trying to be a little better, a little kinder as we go. And as we've seen, the good that comes back to us and to everyone, that's what makes it all worthwhile.
So next time you see someone struggling, needing something, even just a smile or a hand, think about these stories. Kindness changes lives, connects us, makes a world where everyone feels seen and cared for.
Because kindness is realizing we're all in this together, we have the power to make things better, and that journey, taking it one step at a time, that's what matters.